Grinstead disappeared on Saturday, October 22nd, 2005. When a person disappears without a trace, often the most critical information is hidden in their actions and words from the days before they vanished. Tara Grinstead's last known whereabouts may hold the clues to what happened to her. A small-town beauty queen, loved by all.
If you were ever Tara's friend, you would be her friend for life.
Vanishes under baffling circumstances.
There can be an abduction with no indication of a struggle.
She gave me the impression that he acted like he was not himself.
He claimed that he was a serial killer.
A massive police investigation thrusts a tiny town into the national spotlight.
There was a latex glove.
There's all kinds of reasons why people kill others.
I've been involved in some major investigations, but this one has had more twists and turns.
It's worse than death. Death is final. Someone vanishing, it's not final until you find them.
On the day she disappears, high school teacher Tara Grinstead spends the afternoon with some of her students. They're preparing for the Miss Georgia Sweet Potato Pageant, a big event in a small, close-knit town like Ocilla, Georgia.
On that Saturday, Tara had helped a lot of the girls prepare for the pageant. She had done their hair and their makeup.
A lot of them borrowed her dresses as well. And she had so much fun. She had a really good time with the girls. You know, they had snacks and had lunch.
Tara has an especially close relationship with many of her students.
I never heard anybody say a bad thing about Tara. They related really well to her. She always went the extra mile to help her kids, and she made class so much fun.
Most of Tara's students would say, well, she's my teacher, but she's also my friend.
Tara has been involved in beauty pageants since her high school years, but has her own agenda about the competitions.
Pageanting was not for show and not for everybody to tell her she's beautiful. I think it gave her self-confidence, number one. I think it bettered her self-esteem.
Contestant number 2.
In 1999, Tara won the title of Miss Tifton, Georgia. That victory gave her the opportunity to compete in the Miss Georgia pageant.
Once you accomplish one of your dreams, I mean, how often do you get to do that? And she did by going to Miss Georgia.
Tara doesn't win the Miss Georgia pageant, but her family says that for her, winning was never the most important thing.
I never saw in her that winning a pageant was an ego thing. It was not about just the title of winning. It was always about accomplishing something.
Tara's goal had always been education. She succeeds in funding her entire undergraduate education with money earned from pageants.
She knew college is expensive and it was going to be tough on her, and she did not want to burden her mother any more than she had to.
After getting her bachelor's degree in education, Tara works full-time and takes graduate classes at night, working steadily toward her ultimate goal, a PhD in education.
She had gotten a 6-year degree in administration, and that was what she was pursuing her doctorate in. I think she eventually wanted to be a high school principal.
That Saturday night, a happy and relaxed Tara leaves the sweet potato pageant and heads over to a cookout attended by friends from school.
Tara stayed at the cookout for about 2 hours and left at approximately 11 o'clock p.m., ostensibly to go home.
She said she was going to watch the video of the pageant, and then she was going to go to bed.
In a small town like Ocilla, neighbors look out for each other. Because she lives alone, Tara and her next-door neighbors have a system for saying, "I'm home and all is well."
Every night when she came home, the first thing she would do was go into her room and turn on the lamp in the bedroom. The neighbors would look out and they would see that lamp on, and it would kind of be a signal to them, well, Tara's made it home.
That night, the light in Tara's window never goes on. The next day, nobody sees Tara. No one is able to contact her, including her mother.
The more that she called and the longer the time went on that Tara didn't call her back, she started to get concerned.
Sometimes people just want to be left alone. But I can't imagine her ever ignoring her mother's phone call.
On Monday morning, Tara doesn't show up to teach her classes at Irwin County High School. Friends and family know that something is very wrong.
That was a red flag for me because I knew what a dedicated teacher Tara was.
Tara had never missed a day of school without prearranging a substitute teacher.
One of Tara's friends calls Ocilla Police Chief Billy Hancock.
He indicated to me that Tara had not been seen over the last day, that if the school had been contacted, she had not shown up there.
Chief Hancock arrives at Tara's residence at approximately 10 a.m. on Monday. Her car is parked in its usual spot under the carport.
The fact that her car was there and she wasn't meant that she probably left with someone.
The doors of the car are unlocked. Oddly, there is an envelope containing $100 in cash left in the center console.
I would think it'd be unusual for anybody to leave that amount of cash in the car and leave it unlocked.
That's not like Tara to have money laying around any place.
Inside Tara's house, however, everything looks fairly normal.
There was no sign of forcible entry. There was no clear indication that any kind of struggle had occurred inside.
Both the exterior and interior of Tara's residence are photographed in detail.
Every room was photographed thoroughly to capture, what the condition of the house was at the time of our arrival.
Clothing and accessories scattered around the floor help police reconstruct some of Tara's last known movements.
The clothes Tara was wearing on the night of October 22nd were on the floor in her bedroom, which indicated to us that she had indeed arrived home. Her bed appeared as if possibly somebody had either slept in it or laid in it.
Her cell phone was in the charger. It was still there in the charger. And to us, it indicates that she left the house with intentions of coming back. She knew she wasn't going to be gone long enough to have use of her cell phone.
Investigators locate more intriguing clues outside Tara's house. A business card is wedged into her front door. They find something far more disturbing on the ground.
Initial law enforcement officers who arrived immediately spotted a latex glove lying in the grass in the front yard, several feet away from the front door.
Then I really got scared.
For investigators, the latex glove is an ominous indicator of foul play.
It certainly indicated to us that there was a strong likelihood that a crime had occurred. It would imply that whoever was using it was trying to avoid being detected.
The latex glove's not something that all of us have. I think somebody had it very specifically so that they would not leave a trace.
Our gut feeling upon processing Tara's residence was that a crime had occurred.
Coming up, police investigate the men in Tara's life and uncover some troubling leads.
She gave me the impression that he acted like he was not.
After a day spent with friends and colleagues, 30-year-old high school teacher Tara Grinstead has vanished.
I have never known Tara to just take off without letting somebody know. I'm not aware of any time that she ever did that. Everybody might not know, but somebody always knew where she was.
By the time local police arrive at her residence, nobody has seen or heard from Tara for almost 2 days.
Everybody knew that she just had not, gone off for a couple of days, that something had happened, something serious had happened to Tara.
Due to the urgent nature of the case, Ocilla Police request the assistance of the Georgia Bureau of Investigation.
When a person goes missing and we're asked to investigate, we operate with the premise that we're going to presume the worst and hope for the best.
To investigators, a latex glove found near Tara's front door makes it look like someone was attempting to cover up a crime.
Either there was an abduction of Tara in which someone wore gloves, or they returned to the scene and accidentally dropped the glove.
Besides the glove, police have few indications that a crime took place.
To us, there was no clear sign of a struggle. However, that doesn't affect how you proceed in an investigation, because there can be an abduction with no indication of a struggle. It'd be quite easy to take someone out of their house at gunpoint and there'd be no disturbance whatsoever.
My gut feeling is that somebody came by and she left with someone that she knew, and that something horrible happened after that.
Tara's family begins to fear that they might not ever see her again. Meanwhile, the lack of a crime scene presents a daunting challenge to investigators.
In a typical criminal investigation, you have an outcome against which you can measure evidence and theories. In a missing persons case, you don't have that outcome, so you can't measure anything against anything. Everything remains in play.
Law enforcement seals Tara's house and takes her car and the latex glove in for evidence processing.
We actually had a crime lab scientist on the phone immediately who was preparing a plan as to how to handle that latex glove to maximize the possibility of the recovery of evidence.
Tara has been missing for 12 hours. That evening, at Irwin County High School, students and teachers band together in an effort to find her.
The first flyer that was made just basically had a picture of Tara and just had the words missing on it. It just described her height and weight and color of her hair and her eyes.
The students are coming up and they're like, what can we do? We can't just stand around. And I was so touched that, these kids did that. And, they did this until like 1 o'clock in the morning.
Tara's fellow teachers and students design and then distribute hundreds of flyers throughout the Ocilla area.
Posters were everywhere in this community. I mean, they were on light poles, in business windows, on cars, just almost everywhere imaginable.
Georgia Bureau of Investigation agents interview all of Tara's neighbors and conduct an extensive search of her neighborhood.
Also, some tracking dogs were brought in to try to see if they could pick up on any kind of scent of Tara, to see if she had gone somewhere on foot that we might be able to find her.
Both the canvas and the search dogs turn up nothing of value to investigators. Searching for clues, they delve deeply into Tara's background.
You learn as much about the victim as you can, their timeline, their propensities, their associates.
They learn that Tara's circle of acquaintances was huge, from her second job at a department store makeup counter to the various campuses where she took graduate classes.
She had been going to school at night for several years, working on her master's and her specialist degree, so that involved a lot of students that she had met that obviously we would not know.
But it is closer to home that investigators uncover a deeper mystery.
A lot of disappearance cases, you kind of have an immediate focus. You have, a close associate, a boyfriend, or what have you, ex-husband, husband. In this case, what we learned was Tara had several such associates.
Looking into Tara's personal life, they find a complex series of relationships with men.
Tara was involved romantically with several different persons in a close period of time, and she kept those relationships separate from one another.
Investigators focus first on Tara's ex-boyfriend, Marcus Harper.
Tara had a long-term romantic relationship with Marcus Harper. They had broken up approximately a year earlier. Tara had ended the relationship because she believed Marcus wasn't ready to get married.
Investigators learn that Harper served in the Ocilla Police Department for 4 years and then enlisted in the United States Army Rangers in 2001.
She's very proud of him and what he accomplished because he was really good at what he did.
Investigators from the GBI conduct a series of interviews with Marcus Harper.
We interviewed Marcus Harper the very first day and talked to him several times after that.
Over the years that the couple was together, Tara's friends and family got to know Marcus well.
They really looked like a great couple. I mean, he was big and strong, and she was, they were like a really good couple, and I think that they enjoyed each other.
Anytime that we were around Marcus, we had a very good relationship with him. He was always very respectful to us. He was always respectful to Tara when we were with them.
Anita Gaddis sees her sister's relationship with Marcus quite differently.
Tara was a little bit afraid of him. He's been an Army Ranger, and the training that they have is just unbelievable. The things that they can do, the things that they survive. And we stayed in touch with him during his training, and I know what he was able to survive. So I know what the guy's made of.
Despite the differing perceptions within her family, investigators find no history of violence in Tara and Marcus's relationship. But they discover that several months before she disappeared, Tara did experience the threat of violence at the hands of one of her former students.
He had gone over to her house one afternoon in March of 2005. He wanted to speak to her.
The 20-year-old graduated from Irwin County High School the previous year. After taking Tara's history class, he developed a fondness for her.
They had a closer relationship upon his graduation. He would speak to her and see her from time to time.
I just thought it was, one of her students that had, a crush on Tara because she was so beautiful and so sweet to all of her students. And he was the soul that Tara would have wanted to help.
But according to friends, Tara had expressed concern about her former student's behavior.
She had told me she'd been having trouble with him, like kind of getting a little too attached to her or whatever, and kind of got an impression that he was not stable.
Months before Tara disappeared, he came to her house and tried to physically force his way inside.
He wanted to speak to her, and she didn't want to talk to him at that time, and she wouldn't let him in the house, and he became quite upset, loud, began yelling and banging on her door, trying to gain entry.
That was a very violent situation. Neighbors actually had to call the police because he was so loud.
I was yelling and screaming through the door and banging on the door, and she gave me the impression that he acted like he was not himself.
Coming up, in the weeks before she disappears, Tara's personal life begins to unravel.
She called hysterically. I said, "Tara, are you okay? You are not thinking about suicide."
30-year-old Tara Grinstead has been missing for 24 hours. Agents from the Georgia Bureau of Investigation learn that 7 months earlier, one of Tara's former students appeared uninvited at her home and tried to force his way inside.
He wanted to speak to her. She did not come to the door. He began to bang on the door. Basically, there started to become a disturbance.
I don't know if he read some signals wrong or if he just had a crush on her that he took too far.
I believe she just thought he might go away, but I think she realized that he wasn't going away, so she came to the door. They spoke briefly, and I think she tried to go back inside. She then started to shut her door, and he grabbed her on the arm. She pulled away and was able to shut the door.
At the time, Ocilla police are unable to get the former student to calm down, so he is arrested for disorderly conduct. According to Tara's handwritten statement to police, he invaded my privacy in my own home. While doing so in a raging and out-of-control manner, I was very scared for my well-being, as well as concerned about him.
His actions at the house did concern us, that there was some sort of a connection between he and Tara.
She never told me that she had any kind of inappropriate relationship with him. I don't think she did.
Still, the former student's strange behavior is reason enough for investigators to look for a connection with Tara's disappearance.
We thought it critical to interview him immediately. He was working at a job in Milledgeville, Georgia, about 100 miles away, and we immediately had an agent in that area find him.
The former student is able to account for his time on the night that Tara disappeared. Meanwhile, investigators keep digging into Marcus Harper and his relationship with Tara. In February of 2002, Marcus was deployed to Afghanistan. According to her sister, the separation and distance became difficult for Tara to deal with.
She said she really could not stay in that kind of relationship because if they go overseas and something bad happens to them, you never find them, nobody knows anything.
I could tell after that things changed a lot for them. He changed and their relationship changed. But she just didn't want to quit. She loved him.
Tara and Marcus end their relationship, but remain in close contact.
They still saw each other occasionally. They still talked and emailed and called. And so Tara took that as there was still some kind of relationship.
Then, 3 weeks before Tara disappears, Marcus returns home to Ocilla, but doesn't contact her.
He had not told Tara he was home. Tara found out that he was back in Ocilla and Irwin County from a third party, and that made her very upset.
That really devastated her. She felt betrayed, and at that point I said, okay, look, he didn't want you to know he was back. And I remember saying to her, you know, now it's the time you move on, but she just could not quite get over Marcus.
Investigators learn that Tara calls Marcus from her car and confronts him about not getting in touch.
She was coming back from class in Waycross when she had engaged in a telephone conversation with Marcus Harper.
Marcus tells Tara that their relationship is over once and for all. According to friends and family, she has an emotional breakdown on the road.
She called hysterically and just felt like she was not able to drive. And one person went and picked her up, and the other passenger drove her car home. So they took her back to her house, and from what I understand, you know, they had to carry her in, and she was just so, you know, hysterical, crying.
Tara's fragile emotional state worries those closest to her.
I said, Tara, I mean, in these exact words, do you need anything? Do we need to do anything for you? Are you okay? You are not thinking about suicide. No, I promise you, I'm not, and that is not it. She said, I'm a little depressed, which everybody gets, but I am not suicidal.
Tara's family believes that she would never have committed suicide, regardless of how depressed she may have been over Marcus.
She was just not that type of person. She would not have done that to our mother. There's absolutely no way, regardless of how, you know, distraught or upset she was.
Agents at the Georgia Bureau of Investigation come to the same conclusion.
The possibility of suicide was something that was certainly considered, but after a few days and she hadn't been found, it made it much less likely, because when one commits suicide, it's quite difficult to dispose of your own body. So we believe that had that occurred, we would have found her already.
In the meantime, investigators continue to gather information from Marcus Harper. In a series of interviews, he accounts for his time on the night Tara disappeared.
He said that on Saturday night, he had gone to the White Horse Saloon in Fitzgerald, where he visited with some friends until approximately 2 in the morning.
After that, Marcus says he met up with his friend and former partner on the Ocilla Police Department and spent the night in a police cruiser, doing a ride-along.
We were able to corroborate that as best it could be corroborated. There was, no point that he didn't cooperate with us in the investigation.
For the moment, investigators' focus shifts away from Marcus Harper. Then, the business card found on Tara's front door provides a new lead. Agents learn that it belongs to a police officer from a nearby town, a married man.
We learned that he and Tara were very close. He had been trying to contact Tara all day Sunday and had left a number of messages on her answering machine.
A neighbor tells police that he was a frequent visitor to Tara's house.
He went down there and left his card in the door so that when she got home that she would know that he had been by there.
Investigators interview the officer, and he provides an alibi for his time the night Tara disappeared.
He was interviewed and gave a very thorough timeline of his actions over the last couple of weeks.
They put his family through questioning and the people he was with that night. The thing is if he had anything to do with it, he wouldn't have gone down there and left a business card and door,
Four days after Tara's disappearance, investigators find themselves back at square one. Desperate to uncover tangible evidence, they organize a large-scale search for Tara.
A organized, comprehensive ground search took place of the entire perimeter of Irwin County.
We had horses, we had airplanes, people volunteered, we had four-wheelers, four-wheel drive vehicles, we had people walking.
The massive search effort uses every tool available in Irwin County's arsenal. Dozens of agencies and hundreds of volunteer searchers take part in the effort to find Tara.
It's a very emotional thing, especially when you know the area they're going, when you know they're looking in open, deep wells, when you know they're going through swamps, when you know they're looking in abandoned grain bins.
It was pretty intense. It was long hours, long hours. Usually the searches would go on from, say, 9 o'clock in the 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning until dark.
Most of them did not know Tara. They had never met Tara. And you've got hundreds of strangers coming to search for this beautiful person that has vanished.
Despite the massive effort, none of the searches come up with any evidence related to Tara's disappearance.
It makes you feel helpless because, you know, you want to solve these problems and, you know, you want to catch the bad guy. There's one involved.
The one thing good that came out that we didn't find her, you know, was what it gave us hope, of course, that she was still alive.
With the search effort yielding no leads, the latex glove found in Tara's yard looms as a piece of potentially critical evidence. Since it was recovered, forensic tests have been ongoing, but agents are circumspect.
We weren't real hopeful that we would be able to retrieve meaningful DNA or fingerprint evidence from it, but we had to try. So once we obtained the glove, we took it to the GBI crime lab in Atlanta.
Forensic scientists put the glove through a battery of tests, including one looking for the presence of DNA. It's a long shot, because according to police, it's very difficult to recover useful evidence from latex gloves.
If you process for fingerprints first, it will destroy DNA evidence. If you process for DNA evidence, you may destroy or somehow cause problems with the fingerprint evidence. They basically cut it up based on the probability of which section of the glove would reveal which type of evidence and processed it accordingly.
We all watch TV, and on CSI, you know, they do the DNA, and, you know, we know everything within 30 minutes, but, I mean, it's weeks and weeks and weeks to get results back. And, you know, it's very frustrating to just, you know, sit and wait.
Despite the long odds, investigators hit the jackpot.
We were able to recover both fingerprint evidence and DNA evidence.
The fingerprints found on the glove are only partial prints, limiting their use in the investigation.
Fortunately, we also had DNA on the glove, male DNA.
Thanks to the DNA evidence, GBI agents finally have a powerful lead in Tara's disappearance.
The DNA evidence lets us know that a male was at Tara's house and either wearing or had a glove in their possession.
Coming up, police look for a DNA match, believing that person may be responsible for Tara's disappearance.
We began swabbing pretty much any associate of Tara's that we came across.
And later,
volunteers are back searching for Tara Grinstead.
The news media descends on Ocilla, potentially compromising the investigation.
When you lose control of the flow of information, you don't know what you lost.
The investigation into Tara Grinstead's disappearance has been in full force for 10 days. Investigators recovered DNA evidence from the latex glove found at Tara's residence, suggesting that an unknown male was on Tara's property during the time she disappeared.
We knew that we were looking for a male potential offender. So at that point, we ensured that we obtained DNA samples from most everyone we could associate with Tara.
She met hundreds of people every day, and she was such a personable person and smiled, and she would introduce herself to anybody.
Any male that came in contact with Tara, whether it was at her high school, at one of the colleges she went to, there's very few people that I know that they haven't swabbed.
Agents collect the DNA of 144 men that had any contact with Tara, no matter how distant.
Essentially, all you do is take a swab of the inside of someone's cheek and submit that swab for comparison against the questioned DNA. In our case, the DNA from the glove.
But when the samples of DNA are compared, there is no match with any of Tara's male associates. Investigators find no match with the National DNA Database either.
We've investigated everyone that we know of that was closely associated with Tara, and we can't find anything to indicate that any of them are responsible for her disappearance.
But investigators can't eliminate any of the men in Tara's life either. They might have had an accomplice whose DNA was left on the glove.
Maybe someone was involved in moving Tara's body. Maybe someone was involved in cleaning up, whatever evidence may have been at her residence before we arrived.
The lack of conclusive evidence frustrates investigators. Although each of Tara's close male associates provide credible alibis, none can account for every minute of their time during the 34 hours between when Tara was last seen and when she was discovered missing.
It's difficult for anyone to account for every hour of every day and provide an alibi for that. There are times that they're alone and nobody knows exactly what they're doing.
Because so much is unknown, investigators still need to consider all possibilities surrounding Tara's disappearance.
She left on her own, that she was trying to make some point to resolve one of her relationships, that any of these people that we encountered in the first day or days thereafter could have gotten into an altercation with her, or that there could be just a random offender out there that saw Tara as a crime of opportunity. Nothing was beyond the possibility, and nothing is. So as much as we'd love to clear people, say that they had no involvement, we're unable to do so because we don't know what happened to Tara.
As time drags on and Tara isn't found, investigators face an unexpected new challenge.
Turning our attention now to the case of that missing Georgia high school teacher, Tara Grinstead.
Volunteers are back searching for Tara Grinstead.
Growing attention from the national news media makes a sensitive investigation difficult to manage.
The entire interior of the residence and exterior was being broadcast as newscaster after newscaster toured the residence, videoed it, and put it on the air.
Your possible crime scene is all of a sudden exposed to the national media. That's just something that law enforcement isn't used to having happen.
According to both Ocilla Police and the GBI, confidential details of their investigation are reported by the news media without their knowledge or consent.
Things that were in the residence that we might have used to trip up somebody in an interview was gone.
Investigators never wanted their discovery of the latex glove to become public knowledge, but it did.
Once it became public, anyone that we interviewed that may have been responsible for Tara's disappearance and was the one that left that glove knew we had it. You might think that he'd dropped it somewhere else, or may not even realize he'd left a glove behind at all.
Equally troubling, private citizens set up tip lines, but sometimes neglect to share information with law enforcement.
One well-known tip line was actually going to the cell phone of a bounty hunter. What information may have been lost because of that, I can't imagine. When you lose control of the flow of information, you don't know what you lost.
The sometimes intrusive media coverage also stokes the fires of accusation.
With all the media attention, there were a lot of armchair sleuths all over the country that were contacting us, and some conducting their own investigation.
One website, called Backward State, goes so far as to present excerpts from one of GBI agent Gary Rothwell's television interviews, played backwards. The amateur sleuth claims that the interview audio, played in reverse, reveals hidden clues about the people responsible for Tara's disappearance.
I was identifying the true offender, and all you had to do was play my interview backwards. It was amazing.
Then, perhaps due to the media blitz, several new tips promising information into Tara's disappearance come in.
I got a phone call and was told that there had been a fire not too far out of town, and they said, I don't want to upset you, but I just need to prepare you. There is a chance that it could be connected to Tara.
There was a residence a few miles from Ocilla where a house burned and a vehicle burned. There were some theories developed that arson was used to cover up evidence of Tara's abduction.
GBI agents and support personnel go to the burned-out house to investigate.
We headed to that scene as fast as possible, coordinating, having appropriate personnel to process it.
Anytime there's burned bodies or the remains of something are found, it's the first thing that goes through my mind, is it her?
But the search effort yields nothing.
Nothing at the arson scene was found that could be associated with Tara.
In the beginning, every time what sounded like a viable tip would come in, we would immediately think, this is it. After the first probably 2 or 3 times then that happened. You learn to be guarded in your optimism.
Over the next few months, more tips come in, but none bring investigators any closer to finding Tara.
There's been many times when we had what we call he ain't right moments, where we've encountered people in this investigation that their behaviors didn't seem appropriate. That's happened lots of times. Unfortunately, we haven't found evidence to support those feelings. Most of the time, we found evidence completely to the contrary.
Three years go by without any meaningful leads. Then, there is a bizarre development in the case.
I've decided to confess a few things. I've decided to do it on YouTube because there's millions of people that could help play my game.
With his face and voice digitally distorted, a man calling himself the Catch Me Killer posts an anonymous video online.
I will confess to 16 murders. But in order to do so, I'm going to give everybody a clue. Many clues.
He claimed that he was a serial killer. He claimed that he had murdered 16 people, and he alluded to the fact that Tara was one of them.
The video doesn't refer to Tara by name, but cites details that clearly identify her, including the date of her disappearance.
He claimed that he had slit her throat, and he made reference to her screams into the night and said something about, but my blade, she could not fight. It was just horrible things that he said.
It was almost a sickening feeling to have an individual get up there and say those kind of things.
The GBI quickly launches an investigation to identify and apprehend the man claiming to have murdered Tara Grinstead.
Here we have a guy who's basically claiming that he's killed a woman we've been looking for 4 years. We had to find him.
Coming up, investigators zero in on the Catch Me Killer.
We executed search warrants on the basis that Tara was a victim of a crime and that he was the perpetrator. We were looking for evidence of her disappearance and possible murder.
By February 2009, Tara Grinstead has been missing for almost 3.5 years. There are still no suspects in her disappearance. But now, a man calling himself the Catch Me Killer posts an anonymous video online. With his voice and likeness digitally obscured, he claims to have killed 16 people, including Tara Grinstead.
Once all 16 bodies are found, you'll know exactly who I am, because I have knowledge that the police know about, the FBI know about, but you don't.
Investigators note that the Catch Me Killer appears to possess intimate knowledge of Tara's life.
He described Tara's occupation, Tara's participation in beauty pageants, locations on Highway 32, which ran right through Ocilla, Georgia. There was no question he was talking about Tara.
I couldn't sleep, I couldn't eat, just hanging on every minute for information. I thought, you know, this is what we've been waiting for, and this is going to be the answer. We're going to finally know what happened to her.
Officials from several agencies join forces to track down the self-confessed killer. Agents get search warrants in order to locate the computer used to post the video.
What we did is ultimately traced the posting of that YouTube video to a couple of locations in Gainesville, Georgia, in Hall County, Georgia.
Investigators identify the man behind the video as Andrew Scott Haley. They raid his home and other locations in Georgia and seize his computer, camera, and writings. Within hours, they determine that Haley's video confession is a hoax.
He thought it was just a game, and he thought he could dupe people, and he somehow took pleasure in doing that. I don't think he gave any consideration to the harm that he was causing the victims' families and others that cared about Tara.
I still cannot understand what this person must have said to himself every day to justify what he was doing and to tell himself that it was okay. This was not a teenage prank. This was a grown, married man with children of his own.
Haley is found guilty of felony tampering with evidence and making false statements, and sentenced to 10 years in prison. As a first offender, he'll serve just 2 years in a work-release jail. Today, the Grinstead case file is the Georgia Bureau of Investigation's biggest active case. Finding Tara still hinges on making a DNA match to the latex glove found outside her home.
It's almost amazing that we haven't gotten a hit yet. If someone is responsible for Tara's disappearance, it's highly likely we haven't talked to them yet.
Investigators still believe the case will eventually be solved.
We have evidence. We have DNA evidence. We have fingerprint evidence. It's not like we have nothing. We have a lot of information. We just don't know what it all means.
In the meantime, Tara's family and friends continue to wait.
Is she gone? Is she dead? When you just don't know any answers, you don't have a way of controlling your emotions.
It's a horrible situation for anybody to have to go through. It's worse than death. Death is final. Someone vanishing, it's not final until you find them.
You see how hurt these people are at the loss or disappearance of their loved one, and you want to put an end to that.
I've never experienced anything like that. I do have girls of my own. I just can't imagine what it would feel like if one of those were in a situation like Tara.
With Tara missing now for more than 5 years, her family is desperate for closure on their tragedy.
I just feel like her family deserves the truth. Anybody's family deserves to know the truth.
We wanted to believe and still believe that somebody out there has the information that we're looking for, and for whatever reason has just not found the courage to come forward with it.
We're at the point now where we used to pray that we wouldn't find her. Now we're afraid we won't, and we pray that we will, regardless of the circumstances, regardless of, what we find.
Michelle McMullen disappeared on September 28, 2008. When a person disappears without a trace, often the most critical information is hidden in their actions and words from the days before they vanished. Michelle McMullen's last known whereabouts may hold the clues to what happened to her. Michelle McMullen, an adoring single mother and dedicated student, vanishes on a road trip her family knows nothing about.
Something has happened to her, but we can't find where she is.
This is a missing person. This is a mother. This is someone that people want to find. They care a lot about her.
Her parents feared the worst.
God, I know you know where she is, but help us to find her.
Police dig deep for evidence to explain her disappearance.
If she was in some sort of distress or trouble, we wanted to find her and help her.
They turn up nothing, until her car is discovered abandoned across the state line.
I couldn't understand how it could all happen in front of their eyes and no one have any idea what took place.
But as police work to unravel the mystery, they discover a trail of clues that takes the case in an unexpected direction and leads to an extraordinary conclusion.
And that's when we started to put some of the puzzle together. Well, she may have a reason not to be found.
We believe that something happened to her, but she's hunted down like a criminal.
On the day before she disappears, 27-year-old college student Michelle McMullen leaves her apartment in Ruston, Louisiana, and begins the long 18-hour drive to her hometown of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. She's bringing her 6-year-old son, Jaden, back to live with her parents. A month earlier, Michelle had moved with Jaden thousands of miles away so she could complete her degree at Grambling State University in Louisiana.
She was very serious. She was taking online courses. When it got close to the time for her to complete her studies, they told her she had to go to school there in order to finish.
She has been a very dedicated mother. Jaden has been pretty much her life. She's spent most every waking moment caring for him. She focuses most of her activities around him.
And as a determined student, Michelle is intent on forging a better future for her and her son.
Michelle was a very attentive and a very focused to identify, how she needed to move forward in most things in her life.
But when Michelle arrives at school, she is stunned to learn that the grant she had been expecting has not yet been approved.
So she was very frustrated. I mean, she had planned on not having to need monies to pay for schooling for the fall. She had to sit down and figure out how she was going to pay for school, pay for her room and board, pay for books. Certainly the school said, well, you can come back in January, but she had moved everything, 1,000 miles. You just can't move back home and then move back again.
Resolved not to let her financial situation become a barrier to an education, Michelle takes a job at a local McDonald's. But the pressures of being a single parent and a full-time student become too much for her.
She had Jaden with her son. She was that attached to him and that close that she wanted him to be with her. Now, finding out that she had to also take on a full-time job as well as her school and trying to raise a son, it became very overwhelming. She just didn't know what to do. She was kind of, stuck between bringing her son back home or trying to keep him there with her. And our advice was to bring him home to family and friends here.
Michelle agrees Jaden would be better off living with her parents in Harrisburg while she finishes school.
I spoke with her and, about me flying down to pick up Jaden and bringing him back. Then she decided that that's what she would do.
But that's not what happens. No one could have predicted what Michelle would do next. On Friday, September 26th, Michelle arrives at work. Unexpectedly, her boss gives her the weekend off.
I believe that it was September 26th, which was a Friday, that she was scheduled for work, and her boss at the McDonald's, she indicated that Friday she had to make some scheduling changes. And she gave Michelle off unexpectedly that Friday evening until Tuesday. So Michelle now saw a window of opportunity that she could travel and bring Jaden back home during that time and didn't have class until Tuesday morning.
Curiously, Michelle chooses not to tell her parents she's decided to make the 1,200-mile trip from Louisiana to Pennsylvania.
Well, when I spoke with her before her disappearance, she didn't give me any inclination or anything that she was coming up that time. And I think she may have wanted to surprise us, and to show us that she can take that kind of drive.
It's a decision that continues to haunt the McMullins. That Saturday afternoon, after attending her college's homecoming football game, Michelle sets off with Jaden.
Our estimation is, based on the time, it's about an 18-hour drive, that she would have had to have left probably around 3 or 5 o'clock that afternoon.
Michelle drives through the night, stopping only for gas.
Michelle drove here in an amount of time that would certainly say that she didn't stop very much. I asked Jaden if they had stopped and slept, and Jaden said he slept and took naps, but he said every time he woke up, his mom was still driving.
Michelle makes one phone call from the road to a childhood friend in Harrisburg.
I understand that Michelle, upon arriving in Harrisburg, spoke to her friend, told her friend that she was coming in town and that she needed to drop her son with her.
Michelle asks her friend to watch Jaden for the weekend and then take him to Michelle's parents on Tuesday once Michelle is back at school. Her friend later tells the McMullins that Michelle had specifically instructed her not to tell them of her trip until she dropped Jaden off.
Certainly our feelings were that Michelle did not contact us primarily because we would have not left her leave immediately upon arriving after driving such a long time.
I would have insisted that she stay, even if I had to sit on her and, take her keys or whatever it is that I needed to do, but she would not have left that night.
Michelle's spur-of-the-moment trip sets into motion a series of events that will devastate her family. Around 8:30 Sunday evening, Michelle arrives at her friend's place in Harrisburg with Jaden.
After meeting with her friend, she got back in her car, and this was about 9 p.m. on Sunday evening.
Before starting the 18-hour journey back to Louisiana, Michelle assures her friend that she won't continue without stopping to rest.
Michelle's friend was concerned about her traveling after having been up for such a long period of time. Michelle had told her friend that she had some pillows and blankets in the car and that she would stop along the way back, but that she was certainly intent on trying to get back to school by Tuesday morning.
But Michelle promises her that once on the road again, she will call to check in. And she does. The call lasts only a few minutes. It is the last time anyone speaks to Michelle McMullen before she disappears. As the search begins, her family worries. Could an alarming medical issue be responsible? It's Monday morning, and Michelle's close friend hasn't heard from her since their brief phone call the night before. Michelle has left her 6-year-old with her and started the drive back to school in Louisiana. The friend tries Michelle's cell, but her repeated calls go unanswered.
The friend, after making several attempts to reach Michelle, became very concerned that possibly something had derailed or there had been some issue.
Weighing her promise not to call the McMullens until Tuesday against her concern for Michelle's safety, Michelle's friend finally picks up the phone.
My wife got a phone call on that Monday morning that her friend or close friend thought immediately that something had happened.
And I'm like, what? Because I'm livid. I'm like going, like my mind is racing. Like, what are you talking about?
On the phone, the friend explains that Michelle had been in Harrisburg over the weekend and left Jaden in her care. And she tells them that she hasn't been able to reach Michelle all day. Michelle's parents begin calling everyone they know who Michelle could possibly be in touch with, hoping someone has had contact with her.
We started making calls to her school, to her job, to places that we thought she might have made contact with in her trip back. Monday would have been, for the most part, a day of travel. So we just really didn't panic because I've never imagined that something horrific may have happened. We just felt that Michelle was just en route, that she was making her way back. She didn't want to spend time talking. We were concerned, but yet not fearful.
But on Tuesday morning, when they find out Michelle hasn't shown up for her classes, they know something is very wrong. It's almost unheard of for Michelle to miss school.
On Tuesday, we called the police.
We became involved when her father, Mr. McMullen, called the police department and reported her missing. He described his daughter as a normal kid, single mother, working hard, going to school, was heading back down to college, and basically never showed up.
But the police also explain that not enough time has gone by for Michelle to technically be listed as a missing person.
The authorities said that at that point they couldn't help us. They couldn't do anything until the necessary time had elapsed of her missing. So pretty much throughout that Tuesday, we're very concerned. We're very, I want to almost say frantic.
On Wednesday, 72 hours have now passed since Michelle went missing. Her father, Michael, is finally able to file a missing persons report. Her name is also entered into the National Crime Information Center, or NCIC, database that law enforcement officers use to track missing people.
That's nationwide, so whoever would come in contact, whether she was listed as a missing person.
When police question Michelle's parents, trying to find out anything that might help them locate Michelle, they discover she's been plagued by severe migraine headaches.
The father, Mr. McMullen, had told us that, and that was a concern.
Police learned that a year earlier, one attack was so serious that Michelle collapsed unconscious. In fact, her son Jaden, then 5, dialed 911, and paramedics were dispatched to the scene to revive her.
And he kept calling her, Mom, and she wouldn't answer. So he didn't know what else to do, so he just picked up the phone and dialed 911 himself.
Michelle was rushed to the local hospital. She later tells her family that before the attack, her vision had become blurry. Was it possible that Michelle experienced a migraine attack so severe to cause a car accident? It sounds like a chillingly reasonable explanation to her father.
We felt that Michelle had been in an accident, that she just, was not in any condition to be driving over 1,000 miles with such little sleep.
The possibility that an injured Michelle might be stranded on the road, somewhere between Pennsylvania and Louisiana, haunts both her parents and law enforcement officials.
Some of those back roads down there, I mean, you could be missing for a month before anybody would spot your car.
The McMullens immediately take action.
We mapped the route from here back down to Louisiana and the towns that were in between here, and to identify the hospitals.
From the religious bookstore and copy center they run, Michelle's parents call and send Michelle's photo to hospitals along Michelle's planned route to Louisiana, hoping that someone might recognize Michelle if she is lying in a hospital somewhere unidentified.
So if she would have been in an accident, then we would have known about that, but we came up with nothing.
Next, police receive a new clue that will intensify the search for Michelle and deeply trouble her family. On Sunday, September 29th, Michelle McMullen goes missing while driving from Pennsylvania back to her college in Louisiana. Her father files a missing persons report with the local police. Because Michelle has a history of severe migraines, family members are concerned that Michelle may have been injured in a car accident and unable to call for help.
I mean, she was just a happy-go-lucky hometown girl going to college and raising a kid, single mother. You spend a lot of time spinning your wheels, and we weren't coming up with anything.
While continuing to investigate the possibility that Michelle has been in a car accident, Harrisburg investigators also begin exploring other theories to explain her disappearance. They interview the friend Michelle left her son with in Harrisburg. What she tells them is shocking. According to the friend, Michelle has run away, possibly abandoning her son.
This friend had said to the police that Michelle ran away versus her being missing.
She tells police that Michelle left her a letter before she drove off.
She had written a letter. Michelle had done it herself, and it pretty much gave it to her friend, and she would be in contact with her, and I guess she wanted to check on her child.
The letter was addressed to her friend, and had an ear stating the fact that they're sorry for getting them involved in it, getting them in the middle.
In addition to spelling out instructions on how Michelle's son should be cared for, the letter contains many perplexing statements.
I don't know what's going on, but I know the fingers are all on me. I was responsible for everything. I'm hurting and scared.
But Michelle's mother questions the authenticity of the letter.
I said, this is not Michelle's handwriting. I had to keep reading it because, like I said, this is not my daughter's handwriting. It's similar to her handwriting, but this is not her handwriting. It's not.
After analyzing the letter and speaking with the friend, police find no reason to conduct a handwriting analysis. They believe the letter is from Michelle. But the statements made in the letter puzzle them. Do they prove that Michelle willingly disappeared? It's an intriguing clue.
And that's when we started to put some of the puzzle together. Well, she may have a reason not to be found.
But the McMullins are adamant that Michelle would never run away.
She was not a type of person who traditionally had run away. Hadn't been proven the type of person who just disappeared for no good reason.
There is nothing in the letter to help them locate Michelle. And without more evidence to confirm what Michelle's friend had said, investigators continue to view Michelle as a missing person. A week later, as police explore different theories about the case, a call comes in. Michelle's 2002 Honda Accord has been discovered abandoned just over the Pennsylvania border in neighboring Maryland, near a truck assembly plant.
We became aware Miss McMullin's car was here outside Mack Truck when Mack Truck Security called Washington County Dispatch to advise that a vehicle had been abandoned on the access road here. We sent deputies out to check the car, and our dispatchers checked that license plate number through Pennsylvania Department of Transportation, and we received information that the car belonged to Miss McMullin.
Sergeant Christopher Howard, with the Washington County, Maryland Sheriff's Office, was one of the first officers to arrive at the scene.
When Mack Truck called us to report that the vehicle had been sitting here somewhere between 7 and 10 days, they weren't exactly sure.
With Michelle now missing for 10 days, this information fits perfectly with the timeline of her last known whereabouts. Investigators are frustrated that it took so long for employees at the truck plant to report Michelle's abandoned car.
I would guess that they had figured it was probably just an employee's car that had broken down as they were leaving work, and they expected the employee to recover the car. When their car sat here for so long, they finally decided to call us.
The news of the car's discovery rattles the McMullins, and in their minds, points to only one possibility.
I'll be very honest with you, my heart sank, because I felt at that point that she was taken from her vehicle forcibly, not at her own free will, because there was just no way in my mind that Michelle would go somewhere on her own and not contact someone.
With 10 days lost, police scramble to make up the time.
I mean, it's just lost time. So if she was in the area, obviously, if we had known it was there an hour after she left, it would have been a much easier chance of catching up with her.
A local TV station picks up the story.
The discovery of Michelle's car on the interstate did eliminate a few possibilities. One, that she wasn't in a car accident because her car was fine. And two, that she didn't die right there on the scene.
With the likelihood of Michelle being injured in a car accident now eliminated, investigators focus on other possible scenarios.
When we found the car, we weren't exactly sure why Miss McMullin had left it here. When we began to examine the contents of the vehicle, we looked at it as hopefully we would find something that would indicate where she may have gone.
The examination of the car reveals some clues, but they don't all add up. The car doors are locked, but inside, police find Michelle's purse, along with her cell phone, wallet, and ID. Evidence that reinforces the McMullins' fears their daughter has been abducted.
I thought that she might have been asleep and somebody seen her, a trucker or somebody, and, banged on her window and scared her, and she got up and they took her out the car.
The vicinity surrounding the truck plant is a mixture of farmland and wooded areas. Areas that would be sparsely populated at night when Michelle would have been separated from her car.
In this area especially, it's not a really populated area. It would definitely be easy for Michelle to just pull up, leave her car, and nobody would ever even see her. I don't think there's a lot of people around there that would really say, "Hey lady, what are you doing?"
Police form search parties to scour these areas for clues. They also bring in scent-tracking dogs to determine Michelle's movement. The dogs pick up Michelle's scent and track it 50 feet from the car towards the main road before it goes cold.
With the bloodhound tracking Miss McMullen from the vehicle towards Moggins Avenue, the conditions that caused her to walk there, again, we had no idea of that.
Still, the McMullens contend there can be only one explanation. Michelle did not leave her car willingly.
The tractor trailer is about 50 feet in length. And that certainly makes sense that, hey, maybe a truck pulled out, saw her, stopped, went back, grabbed her up, put her in the truck, and went on their way.
I mean, if this woman left her car on the side of the road and had a plan to escape and get away and go somewhere else, you would think she would take her personal items, things she needed to survive, like her credit card and her cell phone and her wallet. But it seems weird that she just walked away and left everything that are completely vital to surviving.
As ground searches of the area are completed, only one thing is certain. Michelle McMullen is nowhere to be found.
We had hoped maybe to find something indicating where she had gone or why she had disappeared. We didn't find anything.
The McMullens are frustrated when the police are unable to turn up anything to help them locate Michelle. And they can't believe no one at the truck plant saw her leave her car.
How come you could not see if someone got out that car? You would have to notice if somebody's pulling up and pull over to the side. You would have to see that. You have no choice. Even if your back is turned, you're going to turn around, you still would have to see. You had to see that someone pulled that car there and got out that vehicle.
But as investigators begin evaluating all of the evidence in the case, Michelle McMullen's disappearance starts to look less like an abduction and more like something else.
There was nothing in the car that would indicate to us that there was any foul play. There was no evidence of a crime, no blood or anything like that. Each one of those things that we came up with sort of leads us to believe that, okay, no, she's not a missing person, she wants to be missing.
Could Michelle have wanted to disappear? When something from Michelle's past emerges, it throws the missing persons investigation into a tailspin. 10 days after she vanishes, Michelle's car is found abandoned right over the Pennsylvania border in Hagerstown, Maryland. There are two theories about her disappearance. Her family insists she was taken against her will, but police believe the evidence shows that she wanted to disappear. Suddenly, there's shocking news. A warrant for the arrest of Michelle McMullen issued in Pennsylvania by a neighboring police department. The charges? Felony theft by forgery, unlawful taking, and deception of an amount over $2,000 from the church where Michelle used to work before moving to Louisiana. Detective Michael Thornton is the lead investigator with the Susquehanna Township Police.
Michelle was employed there as an administrator at the church. She was in charge of doing certain financial functions for the church.
Church officials tell Detective Thornton Michelle had been employed at the church since November of 2007. But she was fired in July of 2008 for poor performance, a little less than a month before she moved to Louisiana. And it was at that time they discovered money was missing.
He did an audit of the funds and discovered numerous discrepancies. Our investigation found that there's over $19,000 worth of missing funds.
The McMullen family is completely dismayed. Michelle's father had been unaware Michelle had actually been fired from her job.
As I understand, Michelle left her employment in the end of July and had given notice with the understanding that she was going to school to Louisiana, and left with that purpose.
Michael McMullen had spoken with Detective Thornton on the phone a month earlier about the theft investigation. But he believed Michelle was not being accused of any wrongdoing.
I received a phone call from the Susquehanna Police Department, Detective Thornton, who asked me, did I know how to get a hold of Michelle? And he was very forward in that he said there had been an investigation with things at her former employment. He indicated at that time Michelle was not a suspect. He said they were not looking to arrest Michelle or any of those things.
Michelle even tried contacting Detective Thornton when she learned of the investigation.
And Michelle made an attempt to call him. And as I understand from the detective, he did miss the call.
Michelle called me. She left me a voice message stating that I could contact her, but only through an email address. She did not give me a phone number.
I understood later from the detective she had indeed tried to email him as well. And then they just missed each other.
News of the arrest warrant causes Harrisburg police to re-examine Michelle's disappearance.
We discovered that Susquehanna Township had filed criminal warrants for embezzlement and stealing from the church, and so that you start to look at the other aspect of that, and that kind of fit in when the friend was talking about she may be just on the run.
Even given the letter, it is a theory that Michelle's father, Michael, cannot accept. He fears that police have already drawn their own conclusions about Michelle without having all the facts.
Once there's any release of some type of criminal information, everybody's mind is made up. People are now convinced, well, she must have done something. That's what's wrong. She could be out there laying in a ditch dead, somebody, harmed, injured, raped her, killed her.
Police comb through Michelle's life, looking for places where she might be hiding. Michelle's cell phone records and email accounts are carefully scrutinized.
I did obtain search warrants for Michelle's email accounts, her MySpace and Facebook accounts. I was trying to locate individuals who she may have had contact with after she disappeared, and to find something to help us to find her.
But again, nothing surfaces to help investigators. Her name is once again placed in the NCIC database. This time as a wanted individual.
We entered her as a wanted person. That was done for several reasons. If she is found, that the agency needs to know that there are charges pending in another jurisdiction. There's some meaning as to why she may be missing, and to make sure she's returned safely.
Still, Michael McMullen firmly believes that the charges against Michelle have nothing to do with her disappearance.
There was more information and more reason to believe that Michelle had been abducted than to believe that she walked away because of this criminal investigation.
Detective Thornton acknowledges that at this point in the investigation, both theories about Michelle's disappearance still seem possible.
There was the possibility that she was in harm's way, and there was also the possibility that she was running from the charges. We had no idea. That's why we had to investigate, look in the situation, and determine exactly what happened. But we had no idea exactly why she was missing.
The Harrisburg Bureau of Police continues investigating Michelle as a missing person. Meanwhile, the Susquehanna Township Police carry out their own fugitive search.
Susquehanna Township was handling the criminal aspect. We were handling the missing person aspect. We have to continue to do that until we locate that person. Bottom line is we still had a missing person that we didn't know where she was.
Detective Thornton carefully re-interviews Michelle's closest friends and family, altering the questions to reflect Michelle's new status as a wanted individual.
We interviewed Michelle's family and friends. We asked them all sorts of questions as to if they knew if they knew where she was, why she disappeared. We have no reason to believe that Michelle's parents knew where she was or know where she's at right now. They are generally concerned about her safety and want her to return home to them.
But while Detective Thornton believes Michelle's parents have been completely forthcoming with what they know, he feels the same can't be said about Michelle's childhood friend, the one who Michelle left her son with before disappearing.
Certainly Michelle's closest friend seemed to have a very intricate involvement. There seemed to be a lot of things and situations that involved or surrounded her close friend.
Detective Thornton asks the woman to submit to a polygraph test.
We gave one of Michelle's friends a polygraph test. We wanted to make sure that we were receiving accurate information.
Her answers are analyzed by the Susquehanna Township Police polygraph expert.
The results of the test were that that person was deceptive.
Detective Thornton believes the results suggest Michelle's friend isn't telling all she knows.
There's still a lot of unanswered questions. The results of the polygraph test were another piece of the puzzle and gave us direction to look into.
But none of this eases the McMullins' pain of not knowing where their daughter is.
I've had a lot of people who have said to me, well, you know, you seem to be so calm and so collected through all this. I'd be out of my mind. But I knew my daughter was out there and that somehow I had to find her. And being erratic, being emotional, being, disoriented, just, isn't going to cut it. I mean, you got to be focused.
Then, a possible sighting confirms police suspicions, but causes Michelle's parents even greater anxiety. The disappearance of Michelle McMullen continues to be investigated by two different police forces. The Harrisburg Bureau of Police is still treating her as a missing person, while the neighboring Susquehanna Township Police pursue her as a wanted fugitive. And with little information to go on, her parents remain at a loss to explain their only daughter's disappearance. On Monday, December 15th, nearly 3 months after Michelle disappeared, an acquaintance walks into a hotel in Martinsburg, West Virginia. He's startled when he recognizes the woman working behind the counter. She appears to be Michelle McMullen. It's the break that police have been waiting for.
We alerted the Harrisburg Police Department, and we in turn notified the Sheriff's Department and the police department down in West Virginia where she was.
Investigators pounce on this startling tip. Just 30 miles from where her car was discovered, and a little less than 100 miles from her hometown. Could Michelle McMullen really be so close by?
One of our detectives got the information and immediately sent the local law enforcement agency there.
But when the officers arrive, they are surprised to find the person believed to be Michelle McMullen has already fled.
When police first were alerted of the sighting of Michelle in Martinsburg, they got there, they missed her for about like 10 minutes.
Well, that news was very frustrating. We were very close to her. We almost found her.
And I don't know how she was notified that we were coming. I don't know how that happened, or whether she just said, oh, my friend saw me, the gig's up, and she just, left the area, but it was done rather quickly.
Michelle's parents are stunned when told of the sighting.
Immediately, we wanted to believe that it was Michelle. I said, where? How? I was just full of questions.
Investigators question the hotel staff, and a local news station devotes significant time to the story.
They saw Michelle working here at the Knight's Inn.
A customer come to check out, and a friend that was with the customer recognized her.
From what?
From Pennsylvania. He was a family friend and recognized her. And as soon as he recognized her, she tried to jump behind the wall so he wouldn't see her. She must have seen him coming. And then he saw her, and then she took off running.
The individuals at the hotel were able to identify her in the photos that we had and provided. There's no doubt that's her, and she's now on the run.
Investigators determine with near certainty that the woman is Michelle. But the McMullens are not as willing to believe this woman is, in fact, their daughter.
So now in my mind, I'm saying, is this really Michelle? So I'm saying, well, I know when the police get there, they're going to do some fingerprints, DNA, something to conclusively, determine this was her.
We had a positive ID, so at this point, there was no need to do any forensic stuff or DNA. We knew it was her. She'd been positively ID'd by 2 sources, plus the information we had found in the room that clearly indicated it was her.
I don't believe that individual is my daughter simply because we have not got a 100% ID from the authorities.
Police learned that this woman, who identified herself as Monique Watson, had lived and worked at the hotel for the last 2 months. That coincided with the same period of time Michelle has been missing. They examine Michelle's hotel room and uncover some very revealing evidence.
She was living in the room at the hotel. We found stuff in the room that indicated that she was going by the name Monique Watson. We also found evidence that she was trying to obtain false ID, false driver's license, birth certificates, social security cards with that name.
Hotel employees told me that they knew her as Monique Watson. When I kept saying Michelle McMullen, they had no clue who I was talking about. So I had to keep referring to her as Monique because that's how they knew her. That's how they knew her as a friend, as a hotel employee, as a neighbor.
Reporter Nikki Burdine, arriving shortly after the police, interviews staff about how Michelle came to be employed.
By 10 minutes. Hotel employees told me that Michelle had arrived kind of out of the blue, told them that she was running from an abusive boyfriend. And the hotel employees told me, they said, once somebody tells us something like that, we don't really pry. Another interesting fact is Michelle did not provide an identification when she got this job. The hotel employees told me that Michelle told her boss that she lost it in Katrina. And again, she hit the hot button. You don't ask someone about that. It's a touchy issue and you just let her be.
Investigators piece together all this information and form a narrative of Michelle's movements following her disappearance.
She originally found the job at a hotel not too far from where her car was discovered in Maryland, but she only worked part-time. She was looking for full-time employment. The hotel owner knew of another hotel in the West Virginia area that was looking for full-time help. She traveled down there, she did get hired, and she ended up working there full-time and living there. We're still looking in to see who might have helped her move from Maryland to West Virginia, who her friends were, who she had contact with.
Once again, Michelle McMullen has vanished, leaving only a few scattered clues and a trail of unanswered questions.
I never in a million years would have expected this case to take the turns and twists that it did, where she's a missing person, her car gets discovered, she's using false names, she runs out of the hotel, we're still trying to find her. It just, and never would imagine this in a million years for this case.
Michelle's family prays for her safety, wherever she is. Her father's biggest worry?
That something's going to happen to her while she's in the transit. That's my biggest concern, is that, yes, okay, up to this point, maybe she's been safe, or maybe not. We don't know what she's had to endure to get to where she is at this point.
Your child is out there, and if she is running, who does she know? She doesn't know anybody, but just feeling, it's really unexplainable, just like an emptiness, a piece is missing, and you want to find your child.
After reviewing the evidence, the Harrisburg Bureau of Police closes their missing persons case. But for Michelle's parents, the case is far from over. Their lives are still full of uncertainty and fear for their daughter.
I can't think about the negative aspects of this. I have to think about finding her, period. And that's what I've been asking other people to do.
Michelle's son Jaden still waits, wondering when he will see his mother again.
Sometimes, he's the average 6-year-old boy, and then at other times he's like that little child that's like, where's my mom? That's his words, where's my mom?
2 years go by. The trail goes cold, and Michelle's parents wrestle with the possibility that they may never know what happened to their daughter. Then, on January 21st, 2011, police in Oakland, California get a startling call, which breaks the case wide open. A disappeared viewer has recognized Michelle at a hair salon. The Oakland police team up with the FBI, and 4 days later, they raid the salon. Michelle, who has been living under an assumed name, tries to flee, but is caught and arrested. On March 4th, 2011, Michelle McMullen is extradited to Pennsylvania to face charges of theft and forgery for crimes dating back to 2008. Her lawyer has stated that Michelle is guilty of theft, but that the amount has been grossly inflated. Her family now knows where Michelle is, but they are left to face a new and difficult chapter in their lives.
अल्फ अल्लाह की जात तू ऐ झोर सदके जेड़ो कुल कायनात चलाण आलो अल्फ अल्लाह की जात तू झोर सदके जेड़ो कुल कायनात चलाण आलो हुक्म उसके बाजना पतर अल्लाह ओ तेरो मेरो वजूद बनाण आलो 18,000 मखलूक गो ऐ मालिक सुनो रब सुनो जमीन आसमान आलो अर्श फर्श लो कलम महफूज कुर्सी जिया जून ना रिज़्क खिलाण आलो दाल दुखांगी गल सो नौरे तमना एक बच्ची मासूम रोलाओ गई है दाल दुखांगी गल सो नौरे तमना एक बच्ची मासूम रोलाओ गई है ओ उसकी मारे गुलनाज है बहुत दुखिया मारा सीना माँ बर छिलाओ गई है नाओ बच्ची गो अफसा में मूद सोनो रोग उमरा गो सुनी लाओ गई है ओ जिला पुणछ गिरा शिंदरा सोनो ऐ दुखिया दिलाना अफजारो लाओ गई है दाल दर्द जो दयागा ऐ बोते ओ खाए पर बचागी नारे जो दई ओवे दाल दर्द जो दयागा ऐ बोते ओ खाए पर बचागी नारे जो दई होवे ओ माना सबर करार फिर नहीं रहा तो दख्ते जिगर की जद जो दई होवे ते बाप उसको मैं मुँह दियो सेन दुखिया अफसा जही बची सिने लाई होवे ओ दुख मुझ जावेद माँ बाप नावे ओ बचा किसे गी नारे जो दई होवे तेरे हो रब गा कर तमाम होए आस 18 अप्रैल ना खुशी भरपूर होई रे हो रब गा कर तमाम होया 17 अप्रैल ना खुशी भरपूर होई ओ अल्लाह पाक ने दिती एक बच्चियों सोनी ऐ गुनाहगारां गी अर्ज मंजूर होई दिन मां दाखिल रही महारात आए 10 बजे ऑपरेशन होयो ते टेंशन दूर होई ओ दीती खबर फिर आनी उन डॉक्टरां ने होगी बची पर बड़ी कमजोरी होई सलाह दीती वीर डॉक्टर है कमजोर बच्ची ले गए बीच मशीन रखाओ दीती सलाह दीती डॉक्टर है कमजोर बच्ची ले गए बीच मशीन रखाओ दीती 18-19 तक रखी पुणछ अंदर और पर इकी नर जोरी कराओ दीती आई रात 9 बजे मामू आई नानी दोए गड्डी तरफ जोरी चलाओ दीती ओ मासा देरी ना लाई ले चल गया ओ 12 बजे जोरी पहुंचाओ दीती किसना चैन सकून फिरे आई उस दिन तो रास्ता बिच डाडा परेशान होया आई किसना चैन सकून फिरे आई उस दिन तो रास्ता बिच डाडा परेशान होया रात 12 बजे ले जोरी पुजया कि जल्दी डॉक्टरां कोल रवाने होया आई डॉक्टर नब्ज तके मुतू बोल न सके असली राज तू बे वो हैरान होया ओ अमानत रब की है तम सबर करियो आपसा बची गारू वे रवानी होया किसना होश रे ओ सुनी ये खबर जिस दम आया है आप जायमना छोड़ गई है ऐ किसना होश रे ओ सुनी ये खबर जिस दम आया है आप जायमना छोड़ गई है ये एम्बुलेंस करी वापस पुणछ चलना मारी किस्मत अज मुखरे मोड़ गई है आई गुल नाज वाणी अरे मान बाकी मेरी खुशी ना किंगा तू रोड़ गई है दाखिल विच अस्पताल थी पुणछ अंदर ये मांगुल नाज गो दिल क्यों तोड़ गई है। अप्रैल बईना सुबह गए 5 बजे वतन शींदरा पुजे आयान सदके। अप्रैल बईना सुबह गए 5 बजे वतन शींदरा पुजे आयान सदके। माना 10 बजे एम्बुलेंस आने तेरा तकन गाया अफजायर मान सदके। ते कितना दुख था महंगा ऐ काल जामा जाने वाया रब रहमान सदके। और वे बाप महमूद परवेज नानी नाले रोवे सजाद यमान सदके। कफन दफन गो विलोणे यार गयो इना दुकाना उण मीटौरे किसरा। कफन दफन गो विलोणे हार गयो इना दुकाना उण मीटौरे किसरा। ओ जीता मांगे बचा गो टूर जानो इस शेर बर कलम चनो किसरा। ते अच्छा रब वाले हुणे आई छोड़ गई है तीना सिना नाड़ू हुण लो किसरा। सबर या तो नी दिल मां याद तेरी रोता दिला ना चुप करूं किसरा। फिया मान इना दुखाने ऐ मुकनो नी 4 बजे रे अपना दफनाओ छोड़ी। ऐ फिया मान इना दुखाने ऐ मुकनो नी 4 बजे रे अपना दफनाओ छोड़ी। वतन पुणछ गिरा शींदरा अंदर ओ सोनी निकी जी कबर बनाओ छोड़ी। सबर करियो महमूद गुल नाज दोए मानत रब गी रब ने छुपाओ छोड़ी। ओए पिया मान जावे तू इजाजत ले ले जख्म मोड़ी भी क्यों रे दुखाओ छोड़ी।